Did you ever consider foregoing your bonuses, your equity package, or some portion of your salary to save some of the important jobs, particularly of journalists in this country?
Well, so as it comes to reduction, so first I would say we've grown news correspondents by 35%. Since prior to 2023, and we started a newsroom in the French language in the province of Quebec from scratch in 2021. No one has done this. I can't think of anyone in North America,
should I take that
probably
as a no?
The world, that has done this.
I'll take that as a no.
Well, no, in terms of that the direct question, we've actually implemented reductions across the entire company. So our vice presidents and higher there's 23% fewer vice presidents at Bell since I became CEO, and 40% fewer direct reports.
My question is a specific one. Did you, and now I will expand, did you or any of your executives choose or consider foregoing your bonuses to save the jobs of average Canadians who are working in your newsrooms and in other parts of your organization? It's simple, yes or no. And if the answer is no, that's okay.
No, what we did is we dramatically reduced the executive ranks so that we could retain as many jobs across the company as possible. That's what we did.
So I'd like to talk a little bit about news, because one of the things that we have a dearth of in this country is the ability for small communities, rural communities, Indigenous communities to have their stories told. How do you expect journalists to maintain the quality of local news from local communities if they're sitting in newsrooms in Toronto and not in the field? And when you eliminate jobs across this country, particularly of journalists in small communities, how do you expect those communities' voices to be heard?
Thank you for the question. It's a very good question. Now, I would say that, again, the question doesn't acknowledge the facts that I've shared with you today, that we have 35% more news correspondents today than in 2023. So we are investing in news. The question doesn't recognize that we've built a newsroom in Quebec from the ground up, from scratch. It doesn't recognize the other fact that I shared with the committee this morning, that we now, which for the first time in CTV's history, have journalists in every single province. That's a first. So that's how we're covering news locally and nationally and serving our viewers, because number one is our viewers. They want to have more news.
22 seconds.
Mr. Bibic, I will say this. As somebody who used to watch W5, I'm really disappointed that my views were not considered when you cut that program. You know, I would say this. I come to politics having worked in the corporate sector, and I have to say that one of the things that I remember being taught by somebody that I respected tremendously is that as an executive, as a leader, you have an obligation to take care of your people if you want to build a strong organization. And I have to say, the idea that you and your executive team saw fit, and I think building strong Canadian business is important, but that you saw fit to take substantial bonuses and equity packages at a time when your workers, your employees, your journalists could have had their jobs saved, is a bit disappointing. And I will leave that with you, Mr. Bibic. You have to run the company the way that you believe that is best, but I think that it is important to think about Canadians, particularly those who have subsidized your company for so very long.